That literally just happened.
It is time to do a declutter and deep clean in the boys' room, and we are going to get rid of everything. I hope you guys are ready. Whether you are doing your room, a closet, a drawer, or just want to hang out, we are going to get so much done today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and let's get started. Hey there, I am glad you are here. We are going to be doing a massive declutter and deep clean in the boys' room. I do these every so often. I just did one of these in January and it is time to do it again. So this is going to be my quarterly deep clean and declutter for their room. They do need to manage their room on a day-to-day basis, but as you can tell, they have not been doing a very good job at that. So I give them a lot of grace. I try to let them tackle it on the weekends, but when I got in here, it was clear that they have not done a lot. So there's nothing like a mother's touch, and I wanted to come in here. I wanted to completely take everything out. I will pull the beds out, the mattresses. I am going to be literally getting rid of everything in here that I possibly can. I find that when the boys aren't able to manage their items and the room is staying a mess, then we still have too much stuff. And so for you, if you're in your home and it feels cluttered and chaotic and you feel like you're constantly having to clean, you're constantly having to corral your stuff or put things away, then you probably still have too much stuff. We really don't need as much as we have, and I'm speaking to myself. So for them, I know that if they can't keep on top of it, then we've got to get some things out of here just to make it a little bit easier for them. I don't expect them to clean it the way I do every single day. I don't think that's realistic. But if it's this hard to manage and it gets this bad, then clearly we have something we need to work on. So sometimes when we start to declutter, it can seem super overwhelming. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. But we have to remember the end result. When things feel like it's too much, we can't do it, we don't have the energy or the time, you have to remember of the end goal. It is going to be your anchor thought for today. So every time overwhelm comes up, you're going to think, oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be more functional. It's going to be cleared out. And these are things that you can do. Everybody can do this. When you declutter and organize your home, you are setting up the life that you want to live. This is a home for you, your safe place, your haven, and it can't be like this when it's all cluttered. So we're going to get in there, we're going to make it happen. Real quick, I wanted to share this delicious Graza olive oil. So I don't know if you've ever had this before, but it is by far the best olive oil I have ever had. Whether you want to drizzle it, sizzle it, it is so incredibly good. So the one that I am using here with the bread, this is the one that you would drizzle. Extra virgin finishing oil made from olives that are picked early when the flavor is bold and antioxidants are highest. It's made for heating, not eating. Now, you can use the one that's sizzle. It's extra virgin cooking oil made from mature mid-season olives that yield more mellow flavor. The bottles are completely opaque, so if you're not aware that your olive oil needs to be in completely opaque bottles, okay? Graza can handle the heat, so their sizzle can handle a smoke point of 411 degrees in case you're wanting to grill with it. It also has refill cans. They're nitrogen sealed, and so they add a dose of nitrogen to every can right before they steam it. That way it keeps the oxygen out and the freshness in. It blocks all light out from degrading any of the olive oil and is also perfectly portioned for your squeezy bottles. It is really incredibly good. It's fresh, it's bright, it's vibrant. I absolutely love it, and you can use it on so many things. So check out my description box for the link. I'll have a code for you that you'll get 10% off. Excuse the mess, but if you have never tried, this is gluten-free sourdough, fresh, with a sliced tomato, some salt and pepper, a drizzle of balsamic, and then a drizzle of olive oil. If you have never had that, it is so good. I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This olive oil is exactly what you think olive oil should taste like. And I also like to put it in my water when I boil noodles. I do gluten-free noodles and they stick. Drizzle of that. I love to put it when I saute onions, other vegetables. I love to put it on my salad. So good. This is Noah's side of the bed. He is my youngest son. He just turned 11, and he is the one that likes the Legos and still has a lot of stuff. He is more likely to hold on to things than some of my other kids. Drew is another one that really likes his stuff, so I wanted to get it organized so it was easier for him. Now, I've done this process so many times, organizing his toys, his Legos, his slime, and all the things, but I am noticing as he gets older, he isn't really playing with all of it as much. I do keep some of the stuff up here because Emma likes to come up here and play every so often, but I wanted him to go through his items and really evaluate what he was wanting and not wanting, and he did eventually do that. I will not always go through their toys. Sometimes I do, but I know when it's time for them to have to do it, and I have decluttered so much that I knew that it's time for him to put his hands on things and to decide what he wants and does not want. And that's kind of what we're doing here. He's telling me he wants his little stuffed cat, he wants his katana, and then he's going to go through all of his Legos and to determine what is going to stay and what is going to go. Also, while I'm doing this, I am having Emma help as much as possible, and Chris is going to start taking down the beds. He actually made them a bunk bed, and we're going to be getting rid of these. I've actually got these sold already, so that was really great, but just for space, we knew we needed a bunk bed. They wanted a full on the bottom, twin on top, and Chris thought it would be a lot of fun to build. He does do some woodworking here and there, so this was a really exciting project, and it turned out really great. But when you have a smaller room, it's nice to have a bunk bed because it does really save space. So I'm bringing up my vacuum, and I'm just going to do this portion of the carpet, and you will be so surprised how much dirt and dust come up from just this little section. Now, this was under his bed, of course, and it really does get very dusty under there. So if you can find a way to vacuum under your beds, it's really important. If you remember in one of my previous videos, I believe that was the one from last week where I did my master bedroom, I had things under my bed, and I was talking about how much dust it was collecting, and it really, really does. So if you can limit the things that go under the bed and then vacuum it frequently, it really does help kind of with the allergies and all of the dust that gets kicked back up into the air. But when I really want a good deep clean, I used to have a Kirby. It's still in the garage now. It's just too heavy to bring up and down stairs. So I like to use this Shark vacuum, and it is incredible. The suction's amazing, and what I really like about this, which I didn't even realize until later on in this video, you can actually get it to where it can go completely under beds and dressers and everything, which is really cool. I have another Shark vacuum. It's the Stratos, and it can kind of bend and go under everything, which is really nice. So this vacuum is awesome. Really, really good. It gets the job more than done. That literally just happened. One thing I have learned about being a parent is that each one of your children are not little carbon copies of you or your husband. Maybe they are in some aspects, but overall they are their own people. And I cannot put the way I do things and the way I like things on them too much. To a certain degree, absolutely, because I think it really does help build their character when you're asking them to keep their rooms clean or make their beds. I think those are wonderful qualities to adopt early on in life. But I have learned that some of my kids are just not that concerned with cleanliness and organization like I am or like I was at their age. And it was really something I had to let go of because I thought that life just works better when it's organized and clean, and I still stand by that 1,000,000%. But when it comes to kids, they have other things that they're focused on. I was focused on cleaning and organizing as an 11-year-old kid, but my kids are not, and I had to let go of that expectation thinking that they should be. It's okay that they're not. It's okay that they're focused on other things, but it's also okay to have an expectation that they keep their room tidy and clean and uncluttered, and they have not this go around. So like I had mentioned before, that's when I know there's just too much stuff in here. I want to really set home this little trick. If you're overwhelmed when you're trying to declutter, clean, or do anything, small batches. A lot of times in the world, we're like, look at the big picture. There are times in the world when you're overwhelmed, do not look at the big picture. Don't look at the big picture. You're going to put them in little segments, okay? So the first segment was take the bed down. Second segment was get everything in this square. So in my mind, I have 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So the first square is done. Vacuum, dusted, done, minus the window. That's taken care of. Yay. Check it off my list. I'm very much of a check off the list type of girl. Now, there's a ton of stuff to do over here, but if you think to yourself, I'm a quarter of the way done. I'm halfway done. Visualize it in your head. That's done. That's done. And when I say done, I mean done. I mean it's vacuumed, it's dusted, okay? It's done. Once you get all of these sections done, you're going to realize that, wow, I actually got through that pretty quick. Not only that, I just may feel motivated to do more stuff. Maybe you don't after all the segments, but I will tell you, after the first and the second, more times than not, you're going to be like, all right, I'm in. I'm halfway done. I'm halfway done. I can do this because I'm halfway done. Okay? Does that make sense to you? For me, when my kitchen's a mess, I take everything from the counters and I put it in the sink. Everything. Then I do the sink. The sink is all I focus on. And so when I look around, I'm like, now all I gotta do is wipe down counters. Do you know what I'm saying? So you gotta put in little segments, all right? From your neurodivergent little sister here. Actually, big sister. Because I just had a birthday. And I am the age where I thought my mother was old. I'm so sorry, Mom, you're not old. But let me just give you that advice. This process can be very daunting, especially when you're all motivated and you're ready to go. It can feel really daunting, but you can do this because I'm halfway done. If you have been here for a while, you remember this room was actually just a loft that we put this wall and door up. It was completely open to downstairs in the living room, and it was really nice. I liked the way that was, but I really felt the boys needed some privacy. They also play their video games, and truthfully, not the rest of the family don't necessarily. We don't need to hear everything that's going on in their room and with their video games. So this was one of my favorite projects in this house. We have done so many projects in this home, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. But like I had said, this was one of my favorite. It was such a drastic transformation. I will try to link that video down below, but it was awesome. And Chris did the majority of the work himself, and he did a really, really great job. When we moved into this house immediately, as you know, we had to move out of our home right away. So there was no time to come in here and get work done or renovate things before we moved in, because I was literally cleaning my last home the morning that we were going to sign on this one, and then the other family was going to sign on the other one. So there was no time. So as soon as we got the keys that Friday afternoon, we called the flooring lady and we told her to get in there if she could and knock it out. They were supposed to actually come that Friday, but the floors didn't get there. So we had to go ahead and move in because we had nowhere to go and just kind of navigate until we had the new floors put in that following Monday. That was one of the first things we did in this house, and it made such a drastic difference. There were about 8 different floors in here, and every room, and I don't, not no exaggeration, every room had a different floor. The stairs had a different floor. Each closet had a different carpet color. I mean, it was so many. So it was so great to be able to take all of that out and then put the flooring in here. But for me, it just changed the whole look of the house, and it was very helpful for me to be able to see the things that I wanted to do in here. From the get-go, I knew I wanted to do the kitchen. I knew we needed to do the bathrooms. Like I said, the floors were a big deal. I wanted to also do the stair rail, but the loft was not on the forefront of my mind at first. It wasn't until we were in here and we realized how noisy the boys were upstairs, understandably, and just realizing that these kids need some privacy. So I love the way this turned out. It was a massive change, and another really great thing about it is this room, this loft, had a closet. So by us adding the wall, we have essentially have another room. So instead of it being a 4-bedroom, now it is a 5. These were the Amazon sconces I put up here that have the little rechargeable light. The boys told me they didn't want them anymore because they can never find the charger for the light and they hardly use them. So I took them off. Noah's was already shattered a little bit, so I'm going to try to find a place for me to use the other good one in another part of the house. They are really good, but I will say when it comes to those rechargeable light bulbs and lights, it is hard to have another charger and to have to plug it in. I don't feel like they last very long. You let me know what your experience is with those, but I just feel like, I don't know, I think I would rather just plug something in. Chris built this bed. First time he's ever built a bed. He's built a lot of things, but this is the first time for a bed, and he did a really good job. The kids wanted it black. You know I love black, so I think that's a good choice. It is solid for sure. So he's gonna bring the footboard up here. This is gonna be a full on the bottom, twin on top. That's how they wanted it. So I'm really interested to see how this is all gonna go down, and I still have all of this to do, but I'm gonna have Noah do his homework, and then he has to go through his stuff because he doesn't play with it, and it just, every time I've come up here to do his room, it just ends up, or it just is always on the floor. So like, I'm not gonna take your stuff away, that's not my goal, but every time I come up to your room, you've got bits and pieces everywhere. So, and I think there's a lot of broken pieces, so I want to see what he wants to do about that. But here we go. So this is day 2. Actually, it's really day 2 of me working in here. It's about 3 or 4 days later. It took a little bit of coaxing, is that the word? I think it's the word, to get Noah in here to go through his stuff. Just because he is just like me and he gets very distracted, and there was stuff everywhere. And so I would tell him, go upstairs and work through your items, and he would get distracted. And then, you know, the following morning I would say, okay, did you go through your stuff at last night? And he'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. And so we did that a little bit. And finally I said, you've got to go through your stuff. I need you to go through it. And he went in here and it literally in less than 5 minutes, he had it all taken care of and he felt so proud of himself. He's like, I've got it. What I want is in this box, and what I don't want, do whatever you want with it. And so I said, well, I'll just go ahead and keep it upstairs for Emma whenever she is playing, and it'll just make sense. I think Legos are so great for kids. So great. For my kids, they get the boxes, like the whole kit. But once that breaks, whatever they make, it breaks, they don't usually put the pieces back together and make something new. That's what I've noticed with them. And I always encourage them to do that. I say, if you have all these pieces, it's a really good idea to make something else. There's so many things you can do. But if there's no instructions, they're not interested. So when we moved from the last house, I got rid of 66 quarts? I don't know. The clear Sterilite bins that I always use in my garage. I'll see if I can pop one up here and show you. I got rid of 2 of those of Legos, and I actually just donated them to one guy. And I don't know what he was going to do with them, but I could not sell them for the life of me. So I just needed to get them out of the house, and I couldn't give them to anyone else. So I know that some people will actually buy them off of you, but I did not have time for all of that. There was too much going in and out of the house at that time, and I just needed to find it a new home. I had definitely forgotten how challenging it could be to make bunk beds, but thankfully with having the full on the bottom, it did make it a lot easier. I did get the boys some new sheets. I thought that would be a nice little added bonus. And then Liam, for his birthday, decided to get a futon. So we took his full-size mattress, and that's what we have here on the bottom, which was great. I didn't have to buy a new one. And then we took the gray velvet bedding that I had gotten him and Drew and put it on Josiah's bed. This is the gray velvet bedding that is just like the cream one on my bed that I shared a while back. Love it. Love it. It is so cozy. It's so warm. But in the warmer months, if you are a hot sleeper like I am becoming as I go through perimenopause, it is way too hot for me. So I'm about to actually take mine off and store it until it gets a little bit cooler, but they are really incredible. They don't have a ton of colors, just basic ones, but they are really soft. And if you are a cold sleeper, then you need something to keep you really warm. I think these are great.
You already messed it up.
I gave the boys some of the boxes to organize their items. Josiah is in the phase, he is 13 now, where he loves his colognes, his hair products. He has always been my kid that likes looking really good and taking time on himself. So I was able to just organize all of his stuff for easy access. And then Noah, he's not quite there yet. I'm really not pushing it because we all know how fast they grow, and I just want to enjoy it with him as much as possible. I'm also coming over here to this desk. I actually got this for my she shed, but Josiah loved it so much that he begged me for it. And then I gave it to him and just got an old one, the old white one from Isabella. But I'm going to organize his cords here because they do have game systems in here. I like to always have a clear bin with just old cords, controllers, anything like that. That way, if they need it, they know exactly where to find it. Generally, when it comes to organizing, I don't always like to use clear bins, especially because it's not always aesthetically pleasing. But when it comes to things, especially for my kids, it's really good to have the clear bins. They don't know and they won't search for things. They'll just come ask me. So if it's in a bin where they can see things, it saves all of us some time.
You already messed it up. I know that you know it, 'cause you already messed it up.
Hey babe, I am just leaving you this to-do list so I have it in my own mind. Period. For the boys' room, can we hang up the shelf that was originally up? There's room for it. Period. Patch the holes, comma, I can do that, and then touch up the paint. Period. Just let me know where the paint is and I will do that as well. Would you be able to also help me take down the box springs? Period. Love you. Hope you have a good day. See you soon. Sometimes I like to make little reminders like that because he and I'll do it for each other. He'll be like, hey babe, when you put in a grocery list, I need, and he'll tell me what he needs. The kids will do it too. I'll do it for the kids. It's just the easiest way that we can all kind of stay on board. There's also so many things and we're all so much alike that forgetting is very common for all of us. So it's nice to have a to-do list, and when it's right there, it's like it's a hard copy if I don't have pen and paper to be able to write it down. I need to dust everything when I hang that shelf off, or when he does. I don't have the, I might be able to do it. I've never been good at hanging shelves. I usually let him do it because I usually end up with so many more holes. However, the drywall anchors, I could maybe find them. I think I threw them away. I might be able to do it. I'll look at it. Anything I can do that he doesn't have to is a good thing. That way he doesn't have to worry about it. And then I can hang some of Noah's stuff up there. Yes, ma'am.
So, my kid told me that,
Your who told you?
yeah, she said, I just can't tell. Anita, tell you your mom.
Okay. Secret in my ear. These gloves are incredible. I had forgotten I had them, and I've been using them very frequently. And when you're done with it, you can just put it in the wash and it's good to go. Love these so much. You can even flip it and turn it on the other side, and you've got a whole new side to dust with. I will even spray things and use it. It's great. I really recommend it. I think I got them from TJ Maxx. I honestly cannot remember anymore. It was either Walmart or TJ Maxx, but they are really good, and it helps to be able to get into those small crevices with your fingers when you have these gloves on, especially blinds. I do not like to clean blinds, and this makes it a ton easier. It's just like night and day easier. And you can see I am trying to get pumped up. Emma is playing with the Google, and she's playing some songs, so I'm just trying to get the motivation going, the heart pumping, because I was getting so tired. So this shelf is going to be for Josiah, and then we are going to install the other one for Noah, which is going to be a perfect height for him. He has little figurines that he likes to have, so I think it'll be great to have those on display. When it comes to my kids, I have learned less is more, so I don't like to put too much stuff up here because we all know clutter attracts clutter, especially when it comes to kids, because they will put things anywhere. Their closet here is just a normal size closet, and I have their items hung up on opposite sides. Josiah's there on the left and Noah is on the right. Josiah is very particular. Like I said, he loves his clothes and to look nice, and so he does not necessarily want his stuff with his brothers, understandably. But as you can see there, he's got those plastic bins. He likes to have all of his Jordans displayed, which I think is amazing. I wanted to get him some acrylic shelves to put them on, but this is fine and it works well. And then I'm going to, after dusting all of that, I'm going to use the vacuum and just get in to all of the spots on the baseboard. I was blown away with how dusty and crazy all this was. One of Josiah's friends actually dropped the BBs, and so a large portion of this cleaning and decluttering was me trying to get BBs up with a magnet. It was so insane. And then I would think I would get them all up, and then I would hear it in the vacuum. This is what I'm talking about with being able to switch this vacuum up, and now it can go under things. This vacuum is absolutely incredible. I know I've shared so many here on my channel. The Dysons, they don't last for me, and for the money, I just don't think that's acceptable, if you will. And I do believe with all of the vacuums that I've used Rainbows, Kirby's, Dysons, Sharks, the Dreamy. Out of all of them, I do think that the money you spend on them matters. The Rainbow, if you know, you know, that is one of the best vacuums I have ever used. The Kirby, one of the best vacuums I've ever used. The thing about the Rainbow and the Kirby is that I don't feel like they're easy to move around. And especially if you don't have a lot of carpet anymore, like we did at our last house, every room was carpeted, and you have stairs. That's not always very easy, and I need to get the Kirby fixed, but the distribution center, the number is no longer working, so I need to probably figure that out at some point. But for now, I'm happy with what I've got, but I do think the money you spend on it does matter. The Dreamy that I just shared with you was a great vacuum. The light on that is fantastic, and I love that it cleans itself. The suction power is good, but is it as good as a corded vacuum? No. No cordless is going to be as good as a corded, and you just have to be prepared for that. Is it as good as my cordless Shark? Probably not, but it has more features than the Shark, so it's kind of a trade-off. It just depends on what you need it for. But the Dreamy was really, really great, and I think it's an affordable option. So here is the final view of the room. Now you can see I still need to put the knobs on the dresser. When I filmed this portion, I had not ordered them yet because I didn't think I needed them until I finished the room, and I realized it desperately needed some knobs. So I had to wait for those to come in from Amazon. But so far, I am loving the way this turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This room has been through a lot of transformations if you've been here for a while, but let me know what you think about the bunk beds.
Caught in the madness, I feel you somehow. Don't let me go, I need you right
So I need to touch up paint. I need to do the baseboard. I need to paint the door. I need to add new knobs to this. And I think that's it. So here are the knobs. I was able to get a 10-pack of these knobs, very sturdy, beautiful, for about $12. I was looking at the Lowe's and they were $3 to $4. Well, actually $2 to $4 for one, and I'm just not doing that. So Amazon for the win. And The only drawback is obviously I had to wait a day, and that's okay. But by the time I had all of these put on, I had already filmed the last portion of the video. So I did not come back in here and film more. Things got hectic. We had Noah's birthday party and it was out of sight, out of mind. So I want to apologize, but I have more I need to come in here and do. I still need to touch up the paint, still need to paint the baseboards, still need to paint the door and the closets. Chris did install a light, which I will share that in a future video, but I'm just so sorry. I was trying to get in here, and like I said, in my mind, I was done. And so then I just moved on to the next thing. And that's generally how I will work. And so once this was done, I was like, okay, it's go time now. It's, prepping the house for Noah's birthday on Saturday. Touch up paint that's still wet. Do the baseboards and do the door. This was never painted. But I'm not going to do that today because the reality is it will probably not look like this tomorrow. And I don't want to have to come back in here and make beds and tidy everything the way I do just to have footage of me painting. Does that make sense? So, say subscribe.
Subscribe.
Like this video.
Like this video.
Say you're worth it.
You're worth it.
You're beautiful.
You're so beautiful.
And I love you.
Yeah, you love me.
Say have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye,
Bye,
Mimi.
guys.
Bye, Mimi.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. She was wanting to do that so bad, so I let her. I usually don't do that, but thank you all so much. I love y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. You are worth it. Don't ever forget it.